Hello, hello, fellow mammals. If you didn't know, I'm a pretty stingy guy. Nearly every single game in my library was pushed well on sale, but that doesn't mean all of them are. In fact, only two of the games on my Steam library, which by the way I have over 100 of, were purchased at full price. One is Stardew Valley, which I bought when I was 11 and didn't know how money worked, and the other is World of Horror. World of Horror, or WoW for short, is a one-bit choose-your-own-adventure type game inspired by the works of 80s RPGs and of horror manga artist Junji Ito, along with full-time racist part-time author H.P. Lovecraft. Now, a lot of modern horror games are roughly the same. You in spooky place when an invisible spooky man show up, and you have to run and hide from the spooky man, or you get jump scare. Not with World of Horror, though. In World of Horror, you can roll up to this and just kind of beat it to death in 2 turns, but it still doesn't make it anything less terrifying, though. See, the reason Junji Ito is so good, besides the amazing art, I mean, look at this, is because he has mastered the art of the page turn. Let me give you an example. You know when scary stories are tell in the dark and you're reading, like, a ghost story, and then you turn the page and nothing's happening, but after the page turns, it's like, oh my god, what is that? Same thing happens here. Like, a black screen will show up, detailing how you met the monster, and then, oh no, it's amazing. I love it so much, and it's one of the main reasons I like this game. Basically, the gameplay boils down to you solving 5 randomly picked mysteries. By the way, this game's a roguelite, and for each mystery you solve, you get a key. You use those keys to enter an endgame lighthouse, and I tell you what goes on in there, but I mean, like, go collect the keys yourself. I'm not your slave. Also, each mystery is like a fun alliteration name like Rotten Report of a Rancid Ramen, Horrible History of Household Hell, Far Out Fable of a Fear Festival, and my personal favorite, Eerie Episode of Evolving Eels. In this one you have some fish and Kana. Kana's the raddest. She wears some cool shirts, he brings you sodas, and best of all, you gouge out her. That's not all though. The combat is an amazing leap forward in horror games. Instead of going the Silent Hill route of making it clunky as all get out, or the Amnesia route of just straight up provoking it, this game has a system where you have a time frame to attack, and you put all the actions you want and just watch them play out. Now I can sense some galaxy brain redditor coming in and seeing this and saying, but John Robert, you can't fight the monsters, it's not scary that way. And yeah, I can see your point. I mean, you don't see PewDiePie pretending to be scared of Call of Duty zombies, but I think it's combat that can make games so immersive. Like, I get more immersed in this game than some VR games, and I can say that with complete transparency. One of the ways I think this game is so immersive is because of the combat. And what I think makes the combat so immersive is the realism. And yes, I'm not going to talk about the old gods, and you're not paying formal income tax every time you attack, but it's the little things. Like guns directly hurting you for firing them by giving you ringing ears. Like, of course, you're not wearing earmuffs, you've probably never fired a gun before, you're a Japanese teenager. For the most part, it makes you really feel like every single battle is a struggle for life and death, because for the most part, it is. In most RPGs, you're just bumming around in the woods for an hour trying to grind up your Pikachu, but no, in World of Horror, you're just trying to find out why all the fishermen are dead, and then some flaming man comes around to grind you. You don't win fights in this world. You survive them. At least, most of the time, but we'll talk about you later. Speaking of survival, this game plays much less like an RPG and more like a resource management sim. But what are the resources you gotta manage? Well, you got stamina, which to make a long story short is your health bar. You got reason, which is your sanity. And, of course, you got doom. Which I think is one of the many mechanics this game pulls off perfectly. Basically, you have this bar that measures how close your old god is to rolling up and busting a fat dab on reality and just park benching the earth. Basically, everything you do fills the bar a teeny tiny amount, and when the bar hits 100, the old god rolls up to the squad and grinds your soul with a Nerf brain saw. That's just how it works around here. And it may seem pretty surface level, but it's how Doom is implemented that makes it just so good. Play fast and loose with your time, the old god will have arrived before dinner. Play like an elderly turtle, and you won't have the trunk full of pointless household items you need to live through a late game. You want to sleep and catch up with your friends? Nice. Costs you doom. Want to schedule time with your doctor and fix the exposed ribs you have? Great. Still gonna cost you though. I especially like how they handle running from combat with this mechanic. Basically, if you're running into this, and you just really want to get to the old Mickey D's before it closes, then you gotta pull the old Joestar secret technique and get the hell out of there. But subsequently, it's still gonna cost you hella doom. Also, there's something I forgot to tell you about. The more doom you have, the harder the game gets. You got roads closing, riots happen, they hook up your plumbing to Detroit. It's pretty hardcore, but not nearly hardcore as these spoilers. Alright, get ready. So there is this freaking terrifying boss monster that tracks you down throughout the entire game. Once it's triggered, it will track you down to the ends of the earth. Hell, if you look it up on the wiki, its description of the tips you get looked like Night Fury tips from How to Train Your Dragon. Tips: abandon your strength and sanity, suffer for it, cry for it.
Your only chance, hide and pray it does not find you.
Heck, some events even change to show you how close the monster is, like this painting that most of the time shows up as an unfinished painting of a girl, but once the monster is after you, it changes to the monster staring at you, and it's great. Once it finally finds you though, it's horrifying. In the distance, the bell tolls, and everything gets dark. Your demise is here. Something truly evil. I finally found you. But it wasn't always like that. When this guy was dropped in the game, you still had options to attack it, and let me tell you, you could gank this guy. You could wipe the floor with him if you had the right stuff. This is the scariest enemy in the game, and you could just curb stomp him. It was immersion breaking, but it was funny as heck, and I want it back in the game. Pansats, if you're watching this, add a hidden character or follower whose ability is to gank this guy's ass. I'm begging you. All in all, this game is amazing, and you're really doing yourself a disservice by not playing it. This is the best horror game of 2020, and you know what? It's not even out of early access yet. That's right, this game is not even done yet. At the time of recording, we're still at 9.14, and that's a while from the big 1.0 release, and I'm super excited for it. If this game was to drop with some more mysteries and some better weapon balancing, good luck not seeing this at the Game Awards. I'm not done yet though. There was one major flaw with this game, and it's this freaking sword. Basically, there's an event that can allow you to get this sword, and when you get it, you just won the game. It two-shots most 90% of all enemies in this game, and one shot's the other 10%. All that immersive combat, gone. All the monsters, not scary because you beat them in a turn. It hurts me to say this, but god does this sword just kill the game. But it doesn't have to. Just simply make the sword curse. Heck, you find it in the hands of a skeleton in the dungeon of an interdimensional temple in the middle of an interdimensional desert. Get like a major debuff whenever it's equipped, like raising your doom to a threshold, or setting your stamina and reason like super low. So it becomes more of a clutch weapon than just, the best weapon in the game. And if I want to nitpick here, you'll probably notice some cool color changes in this video. That's because this game has many different cool palettes you can choose from. This is mandatory because the default looks like this. If you're powerful enough to handle this, tell me your city so I can personally call in my 25 kill streak on you. Thank you for your time.